Tonight, National Intelligence Bureau picks up driver of Deputy General Secretary of the NDC in connection with the recent market fires in parts of the country. This comes hours after the governing MPP released a statement alleging arson in the burning of the markets and accusing the opposition NDC. We have the very latest as the NIB goes on with his probe. We speak to the lawyer of the individual picked up in connection with this.
This is Top Story with Evans Mensah.
And Top Story is always brought to you by Gasim Cement, the nation builder. Also brought to you by Vodafone. The future is exciting, ready, and Belacqua mineral water. Tonight, John News is learning that the driver of the Deputy General Secretary of the National Democratic Congress, Peter Boama Otokuno, has been picked up by the National Intelligence Bureau, the NIB, formerly the BNI. The arrest is in connection with the recent fires that has engulfed some markets across the country. We'll hear from his lawyer shortly, but this arrest comes hours after the MPP released a statement accusing the opposition National Democratic Congress of being behind the burning down of the markets. Now, this, they insist, is part of their protest of the 2020 election outcome. More on this shortly. There have been fire outbreaks in Kantamanton, Koforidua, and Odona. Now, last Saturday, a section of the Kaneshie market was razed by fire, leaving 9 shops destroyed. But whilst the Ghana National Fire Service is yet to establish the actual causes of these fires nationwide, it has become a source of worry for traders who are losing thousands of cedis in these fires. My colleague Kweku Asante has a wrap of these fires so far.
On November 18, a dawn fire at the Odona market near the Kwame Nkrumah interchange destroyed goods worth thousands of cedis. The cause of the fire has not been disclosed yet. On Tuesday, 15th November, fire destroyed at least 3 shops in Koforidua, the eastern regional capital. The blaze was reportedly caused by an electrical fault on the main power supply pole and spread to nearby shops. It emerged from the incident that the only fire tender serving the regional capital, Koforidua, and its environs had been grounded for the past 2 years due to lack of funds to repair the vehicles. In another development the same day, a fire outbreak at the Kantamanto market in Accra destroyed shops and goods. The cause of the fire, which affected the second-hand good dealers in the market, has not been immediately established. Just this Friday also, a fire outbreak at a local market in the western region town of Asankregua razed down 4 stores. Residents had to battle the inferno before the arrival of the Menfi West Division of the Ghana National Fire Service. On Saturday evening, a section of the Kaneshie market complex went ablaze, destroying at least 9 shops. Even before the fire service establishes the cause of these fires, Accra Mayor Mohammed Ejeisowa has disclosed that procurement processes have been completed to undertake extensive rewiring of markets in Accra.
So one good thing also that we are also looking at, it's the rewiring of all the market. And under the MEDA project, we worked with the market leadership for close to a year. Every market leadership in Accra is aware of this, and they are aware that the actual implementation of the work will commence in February. Engagement and procurement processes have been completed, and a full presentation had been done to all the market leadership in October.
Well, so those have been the fires so far. And today we learned that the driver of the NDC Deputy General Secretary has been picked up by the NIB, accused of alleged involvement in these arson attacks that, suppose that's what investigations are centered on. Thankfully, we've just been joined in the studio by a lawyer for the driver of Peter Boama Otokuno, who is the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC, Victor Daudu joins us in the studio now. Mr. Daudu, so when was he picked up?
My instructions, let me say good evening to all our listeners. My instruction is that you was pick at this dawn.
This dawn?
Yeah.
At home or?
Yeah, home.
At home,
In
okay.
the presence of the wife.
Okay. And what was the circumstances surrounding this arrest?
But you know our security people, the gang style, the Rambo style of going to ransack the room and pick you up. They've collected their phones and all. So when I was told that, yes, he was arrested this morning, I said, okay. I went to the BNI headquarters and I said I was there to have conference with my client. From the reception, it was sent to their superiors, and their superiors also came back with the information that I should go to Kaukudi, their original office, and I'll meet my client there. When I go there, I should see an officer whose designation is HS23. So I went there. I got there around 11:55? Yes, 11:55. Then I asked that I was looking for the officer, HS23. They say he was not available. And I said, if he's not available, can't I see any other person? They should also confirm or deny whether my client is there. Because the superiors are saying that I should go there and meet my client, have conference with him. They won't confirm. I sat there over an hour. And I told them, you can't treat me abysmally. You don't tell us anything. They said, unless they get instruction from the head office. So I had to come back to the head office, go back to the head office, and the head office, they said, if the man is not available, then there's nothing that we can do. So it means that I said, oh, if you're going to detain him, the law grants you power 48 hours to detain him. I don't have any qualms with that. So we left. So
you haven't seen him?
I haven't seen him.
Since the
they've
dawn
been
that he
giving
was
us,
picked
yes,
up.
they've not given us access. And if they don't give us access, it is for us, the lawyers and the family, to sit down and exercise which options of the law.
Safe to say that in addition to having not seen him, you still don't know where he is.
We don't know. So we don't even know what is being investigated for.
Okay.
We don't know what is being investigated for.
They didn't tell you if he's been charged with anything.
No, until you see the person, then the investigator will tell you that I'm investigating you for the offense of ABCD. That is when you will get to know. Then that's when you make your statement. So if you don't see him, how will you know what is being investigated for? But now, I hear the MPP has issued a statement. But, I would treat that with the contempt it deserves. Because, you see, for me, it is a modus. Why would the security agencies deny access? And where is the MPP getting the information that this is it? Why? Where are they getting the information? And all is a mechanism that be done to change the narrative, because the NDC says that they will protest the illegality and some of the things that had been done with this election. So it is to change, because I believe that Boama, the Deputy General Secretary, has been at the forefront of the issues. Yeah, Otokuno. Forefront that there should be demonstration, and the demonstration are geared to send protest that if you don't do the right thing, you don't go through the law by going through collation, you cannot be declared. So if
we'll come and talk about that
so
later.
So I'm telling you about this matter.
Targeted.
No, exactly. So why would
if he's being targeted, why do we arrest him?
No,
the
you
Deputy Secretary himself?
You see, it is a matter of being a member of NDC. We've got a member of NDC, the fires and the things, to change the narrative, to dilate dilatory tactics. Are you getting it? If it's a crime, it is a crime.
But you don't rule that now.
Yeah, I don't rule that out.
You don't know if it's a crime.
No, but we don't know even what is being kept for now.
So you don't know, but you've made conclusions.
No, I've not made a conclusion.
I'm saying that.
I'm saying that
of his involvement.
I'm saying that yes,
but
that is my suspicion. That's my suspicion. Are you getting it? That's my suspicion, that it is because that is his driver, and if they find anything in the driver's room, so they are taking him and go through interrogation and other things without the president's lawyer, and they won't want the lawyer to see him, then they come back and tell us that this is what he said. How will I believe that? How will somebody very objective believe that? Because you take him through process, then quickly you issue a statement and say, yes, we have caught somebody, and the man is called Eric Adoglan. So if Eric Adoglan has done something, granted, and assuming that yes, he's done it, does it mean that it's the NDC? Does it mean that it's the NDC? So you don't see the nexus. So why would the statement say it is NDC? If the man has been caught, granted that it's crime, he was involved. There's evidence to it.
As we speak, he may at best be a suspect. At best.
Yes,
best.
a suspect.
I mean, but he's a driver for the Deputy General Secretary. That links him to the party, does it not?
That links him to the party. And I'm telling you that they want the narrative to change. Because the tension, the people are agitated, people feel so strong that their will has been subverted, and they feel that, look, you declare, you go through the process. When you know the right thing to do, you don't do it. And when you are really under pressure, you want to change the narrative.
You've talked about the MPP's statement that they issued. My colleague, Evans Mensah, has a copy of that. What is it that the MPP has been saying in this statement that they issued?
So they accuse the NDC of being behind the fires, and that point is made in the opening paragraph of that statement signed by the General Secretary, John Buedo. So it says that the NPP has noted with grave concern and revulsion the increasing spate of market fires being experienced across the country in recent times. The sheer rampancy and coincidence with which the markets are burning, coupled with the constant threat by some element of the opposition to burn markets in order to drum home their concerns over the outcome of the 2020 general elections, leaves no lingering doubt that they are behind these arson attacks. For instance, the NDC National Chairman Samuel Ofosu-Ampofo is on record to have incited his party foot soldiers to undertake series of overt and covert operations, including setting markets ablaze and embarking on armed robbery attacks in order to create fear and sense of insecurity in the country. And this is referring to the tape that has been submitted to courts, which Ofosu-Ampofo is being prosecuted for. Now, the second paragraph says, beyond the national chairman of the NDC, we can also mention that leading members of the NDC, including their 2020 flag bearer, John Mahama, as well as their party executives, who are also engaged in this exercise, of inciting their base to create mayhem and make the country ungovernable, particularly after the humiliating defeat at the 2020 polls. Equally, social media is awash with messages from some misguided members of the NDC threatening to burn markets in order to ventilate their outrage at the outcome of the 2020 elections, which they are disputing. As a matter of fact, there is an abominable Facebook comment which has been making rounds on social media attributed to one of their guys who used the name Daniel T, threatening that we are burning down Cantonment tomorrow. And I'm sure, Evans, you've seen that post making rounds on social media. He made the comment on the 15th of December. Lo and behold, on the 16th of December, these hoodlums executed the act and burnt down the Cantonment market. Whilst commending the police for arresting one of the suspected arsonists behind the Cantonment fire outbreak by name Daniel Da Komla, who had been identified as an active NDC member, we also implore the police to immediately arrest Daniel T together with his accomplices and make them face the full rigors of the law. So it goes on to lay out why they think that the NDC is
culpable. Thankfully, the party's communications director is joining us on the telephone line. He's also a lawyer, and so obviously understands the legalities of arson and so on and so forth. Mr. Yabba, thank you for your time here on Top Story.
Thank you, sir.
So, how did your party come to the conclusion that the fires, that the NDC is behind the fires?
The circumstantial evidence is too strong to ignore. First of all, it can't be random and by itself that a series of fires happen within a short time in specific locations of a commercial nature. It can't be the case that these are spontaneous and that these fires started by themselves randomly.
Okay, so if assuming it's living spontaneous, how do you come to the conclusion that it's a particular group of people behind it?
Yes, I'm saying that the circumstantial evidence is what you are piecing together. Now you have a group of people who threatened over a year ago and before these elections started that this was their modus operandi, that they were going to cause insecurity in the country, they were going to burn down installations, they were going to harass personalities, and to the extent that they threatened that they were even going to kill if possible, to put fear and panic within the particular political party in charge of the country at the time, which is the NPP, as well as the EC, and of course, the country at large. It's been caught on tape, and it's been played out. All the harassment that went into the electoral processes, right up to the point where deliberately a failed presidential candidate, defeated presidential candidate, is refusing to accept results that are clear and have been gazetted. And that person knows the processes that are supposed to be followed. So it is not beyond imagination to link the circumstances and come to a conclusion that it is the NDC who are up to mischief where this matter is concerned.
I mean, in your statement, you mentioned an individual who has been arrested. You talk about the basis for his arrest. I have a lawyer in the studio who says he's combed the whole of Accra today looking for his client. Can't find him. Hasn't been told why he's been arrested. And yet the MPP knows all these details.
We don't know anything. We know his name. We know that he's been arrested. And the lawyer in your studio also knows that that person has been arrested, but he's not in the custody of the MPP. Yeah,
but he hasn't been told. He's been arrested. He hasn't been told why he's been arrested. But you know,
that is not the NPP's business. The MPP can affirm and believe that circumstantially that person is involved in the fires, but it's not our official duty to tell his lawyer what to do and where to go.
Mr. Daudu.
This is affable, because if you say you've arrested an individual, which we have gone to the National Intelligence Bureau, they have refused us access. They won't, once they even confirm that we should go to the 37 to go and see our client, and they still refuse that access. You have all the information. A crime is a crime. NDC is a body, a political party, and you say it is behind. Look, circumstantial evidence. You are saying that the national chairman had said something on tape, and what is his statement at the court? And at the court, he has not been convicted that he said that. An objection has been raised by this tape, and you as a lawyer saying that there's circumstantial evidence and this is conclusive. I would treat all you are doing is to change the narrative.
On behalf of a political party, and I'm telling you that all your political activities, your circumstantial activity, which is giving rise to what we are saying now, bringing all the evidence of your activities together, your circumstantial evidence of all your activities together, demonstrates clearly that the NDC is behind the organized, deliberate arson going on in selected commercial centers.
No. You see, let's speak. If you are speaking as a politician, fair enough. Because for me, in all this, and I was not surprised by your statement, because they have refused access. They don't want us to know. The MPP gets to know, and because the Deputy General Secretary, that is his driver. Now let's put the nexus together and link him to change the narrative. The narrative, I don't believe it. I'll treat it abysmally.
But address the circumstantial evidence.
The circumstantial evidence.
That you're already on the streets, you're threatening to make this country ungovernable, he's alleged, and you have people who are putting stuff on Facebook from your camp that leads, and then you see the fires. Who you blame?
No, the fires had always been there. Now listen, protest, demonstration is legal. If it's
legal protest. Not all protest is legal.
Who says so?
Not all protest is legal.
Not all protest.
Not all protest is legal.
Yes, if it becomes violent.
Yes.
And that's why I said within the confines of the law. Within the confines of the law. And the people are saying they are going to protest because, one, you have declared members of parliament elect without going through collation. They have issue with that. People who have been declared, all of them went through collation. So why will you say selected ones should not go through collation? So they are going to protest and show that, look, this is our issue, and
So
they
that
will
is
go
their,
for it.
that is their
Now,
constitutional
because
right.
yes, so because
But when
that's-
you add to it threats to
Yes.
to cause mayhem
no
or
which-
actual mayhem,
which
then that-
which of the NDC people he can mention that they have threatened, and that's what I'm saying.
The
that
president,
crime is a crime.
The losing president himself.
Oh, what? I haven't heard that. If you say
His
that,
posture, his utterances, everything
posture.
have demonstrated
This is conjecture.
that he is inciting
This is
his
conjecture.
followers to
This is-
misbehave.
This is conjecture, and this is speculation. Let's speak to the fact. So I'm saying that if the crime is a crime, the person who has said it should be punished. But we need to go through a process. So you don't be judgmental, get to conclusion, and say a body political party is the one. It all gives me what had happened the whole day, a scenario. Give me the belief. I'm inclined to believe now that there was a process that has been arranged or designed, then come with a statement, then dovetail it and say the NDC using
Lawyer,
Okuno.
let's talk process. You have raised process. Now let's talk process.
Yes, we can talk process.
In this country, electoral disputes are settled by process.
Exactly.
Due process.
Exactly.
They are not settled by people in the streets
No.
throwing stones
No.
and burning
No.
things in public. That is not how you settle electoral disputes, whether there was coalition or not. You settle it by due process. The results are gazetted, and you file a petition in court, and the court determines whether or not you have a valid process.
Yeah.
That
yeah.
is due process.
Yes.
So the people in the streets are doing the wrong thing by burning ties, creating mayhem and disorder. These are not peaceful protests. These are protests that are designed to create an aura of instability which doesn't exist. It's not there.
Okay.
But you're trying to create it.
You
That
see-
there is instability in this country when there isn't. That's the first part of process.
Okay.
The second part of process is your so-called arrested person you don't appreciate. You can go to court as a lawyer and file habeas corpus and ask NIB to produce the body. Know your way
see-
around there. Go and ask them if the body is with them, they'll produce it. It is not for the New Patriotic Party to deliver a body to you.
No,
Okay,
you know,
just hold on.
we act in the interest of our clients. And when the law gives you options, it is you who decide which option will be beneficiary to you. The law has given an option that you can demonstrate and protest within the confines of the law. It gives you also an option that you can go to court and exercise that right. So allow the people to take the process, the option they want, so far as it's within the law. So if there is a crime, it's a crime. You don't just come and say this group of people are committing a crime or doing something that is violent. If somebody within the process commits a crime, he has to be arrested. And that's all we have said.
But isn't that what has happened with this suspect who has been picked up? He's been arrested because he's suspected to have
so
committed a
if
crime.
they suspect him, grant him access to his lawyers. Now, listen, he's saying habeas corpus. It's not that I don't know habeas corpus. Are you getting it? But I have to weigh the merits and demerits of filing habeas corpus and waiting for the security within 48 hours to be able to get my client. Are you getting it? I won't do anything. I go the process, elongate the process, that my client suffer the more. So you take the process that will be beneficial to your client. You don't just say because it's law, I'll have to exercise it. That's exactly.
I
what
mean, Mr. Bamiasama, you're a lawyer. You're not suggesting there that it's okay for the NIB to hold a client and not give the client access to his lawyers, and that the lawyer will have to now go to court to get a habeas corpus just to produce a body when the law is clear that he's entitled to have access to his lawyer at any time.
I am saying, and if you insist that you want me to speak as a lawyer, I'm saying that if I'm a lawyer and I have difficulties with a state institution, I will resort to the law. I will not resort to the streets. I will not shout running around. I will shout at those institutions, and I'll use all the powers at my disposal, including the law and due process, to get that institution to do what is right by my client. The media cannot release your client. The streets cannot release your client. So as a lawyer, I won't be sitting on radio complaining.
You see, it is the ills of society that has to be pointed out. It is not that we don't know the right thing to do, but the ills of society. So by the way you are saying is that, yes, public officers can do the illegality, and when they do it, they say, go to court. Go to court.
I guess the final question
is
when are you hoping to I go to try again tonight?
Oh, I'll go there again.
Okay.
If they give me access, why not?
It's
the interest of my client that I'm about.
If they don't?
If they don't, I would see them. We would take the appropriate procedure or the right to exercise. Yes.
Okay. Thank you very much, Mr. Daudu. That's a lawyer for
it's a pleasure.
Gentleman who's been arrested. He's a driver for the Deputy General Secretary of the NDC. You want to join us on the news tonight because there's more to tell you about this particular story.